everyone, happy college football. Welcome to Porcelain Picks. I'm your host, Andrew Fabian. It's Tuesday. We're one day out from the second round of the college football playoff. It's New Year's Eve tomorrow, 2026 on the horizon. It's hard to believe another year and another college football season is coming to a close. We at Porcelain Picks deliver the locks you need as you scroll atop the porcelain throne. We've been very pleased to do it for you all season long. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment on these picks. I've got 5 big picks across these 4 games where we're going to deliver winners for you. All right, let's get started. We've got a huge matchup, a rematch of a national championship game from the early 2000s. You got the Miami Hurricanes and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Miami coming off that huge victory against Texas A&M. Their defense absolutely locked down the Aggies in that one, holding them to 3 points. Was Texas A&M a pretender, or is Miami for real? You've seen throughout this season, Miami's Big Four defensive front has stepped up when it matters. Can they do that against the Ohio State Buckeyes? Ohio State, their last time out, they lost 13-10 in the Big Ten Championship to Indiana. Their offense did not really get going. We know the Hoosiers defense, a little bit more on them later, is a strong defense. What teams are going to show up in this game? We've got Ohio State, a 9.5-point favorite right now. Miami, I don't know, they might feel like this is a little bit of a slight on them with the season that they had. They proved that they belong in the college football playoff. The over-under in this game sitting at 41.5. It opened just a bit higher than this. We didn't catch it a bit higher, but that number is going to come into play as well in the picks. All right, so you've got a big matchup. You've got the Ohio State offense led by Julian Sayin. You've got what looks to be a now healthy wide receiver core with Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith, 2 of the best wideouts, probably the best wide receiver combo in college football all season long. If these guys are healthy, what type of Ohio State team shows up? We saw these guys play against Indiana, but were they holding some things back? They were running the football. They couldn't really move the ball too well against Indiana's defense. Do we see Ohio State continue with that kind of methodical, slow pace, or do we see them revert back to what got them the national championship last year when they really exploded in the college football playoff to bring the offense on, play tempo, and really bring it to the defenses that they faced? It's going to depend on how they want to show up. I think they have the capability to bring tempo. Not sure they're going to do it, or if they'll continue with their running game with Bo Jackson on the ground. This guy has a chance to be a really great player here in the college football playoff. On the Miami side, you got such talent there. Your talent matches up against Ohio State. It's kind of crazy that this is almost a 10-point spread. Miami might be one of the most talented teams left in college football. Their D-line, I already mentioned, they're outstanding. And we've seen what happens to Ohio State when they face really strong defenses. The 2 toughest defenses they faced this year were that Indiana team and then Texas to start the year. Julian Sayin was a young guy playing his first game. Good excuse for why they didn't move the ball against Texas, but is Ohio State going to be able to run it up against Miami? I don't think so. The pick in this game is under 41.5. Lock it and flush it. I think the Buckeyes win this game. I do think Miami has a chance to cover. It does scare me a little bit that it's 9.5 points. If it were 10.5 points, I might take the Hurricanes in this one, but I'm going to stay away from the spread. I think the play is the under. Ohio State hasn't proven to us that they could put up the big points against the big defenses. I see them coming out maybe with a little bit of tempo to start, but Miami, they've got the guys to get the pass rush in there on a young quarterback. I just think this game's going under. All right, lock it up, flush it up, move on to New Year's Day. Happy New Year, everyone. We kick the day off with the Orange Bowl. This is a noon matchup where Oregon has to travel all the way down to South Florida. It's going to be a 9 o'clock a.m. body clock time for the Ducks. They're facing Texas Tech. Texas Tech, probably both of these teams are really not talked about a lot. They're underhyped here in the playoff. Texas Tech coming out of the Big 12. A lot of people don't think very highly of the Big 12 this season. Texas Tech doesn't have a body of work outside of the Big 12. They look dominant throughout Big 12 play. They lost that one game to Arizona State when their quarterback was injured. He's not injured. they're going to potentially have a big spot here against the Oregon defense. Texas Tech, their average margin of victory was over 20 points. They blew everyone out all season long. They played a couple good teams. They got Utah, you got BYU. Obviously, they beat BYU twice. BYU is a solid team. Is Texas Tech for real? Is the Big 12 for real? That's going to be the question on everyone's mind. Oregon right now is a 1.5-point favorite. The Ducks, a little bit, underperformed in certain games. They had a close win against Iowa, who has a stingy defense. They lost to Indiana. They obviously went to overtime against Penn State. Think what you want against that Penn State, about that Penn State team all year, but that was a big matchup for them. So they do win the close matchup. So if this game does come down to the wire, as the spread indicates, does Oregon's ability to win those close games put them over the edge against the Texas Tech team who hasn't been in a close game all year? I don't think Texas Tech's going to be able to move the ball a significant amount against Oregon's defense. Oregon's susceptible a bit in the secondary. They've got a couple injuries, a couple guys banged up, and they haven't been great in the secondary, but their front seven is incredible. They're going to be able to stop the run. And Texas Tech, if they get into a spot where they have to pass, they have to play from behind, which they haven't done all season long, I think it's going to be a little bit of trouble for Texas Tech. I do like Oregon and their ability to run the football. Dante Moore, obviously you got to solve for him if you're Texas Tech's defense, but Oregon's got Noah Whittington in the backfield. He wasn't really used much. He was rested up against James Madison. I think he's going to have a real breakthrough game this week against Texas Tech. I like the Ducks to cover in this game. I think they're going to win. I think it could be a tight game. Take Oregon -1.5. I also like the Texas Tech team total under 26.5. I think they've put up a lot of points, a lot of yardage against weak Big 12 defenses. They're going to meet their match here against Oregon. I think if they do scrape out a victory, it's going to have to be in an ugly one, a 20-19 type win. I don't see Texas Tech putting up over 26 points against Oregon. So take that Oregon -1.5, lock it and flush it. Texas Tech team total under 26.5. Lock those both and flush them. That's the noon kickoff. We move on to 4 p.m. We've got the Rose Bowl, Alabama and Indiana. The Big Ten SEC matchup coming to you in the Rose Bowl. This is going to be an outstanding game. Right now, Indiana -6.5 against Bama. We saw Alabama. That went from being down 17-0 against Oklahoma to storming back and winning that game, getting it done through the air as they have all season long. Ty Simpson has this offense humming. We thought he was going to be under duress. I picked Oklahoma in that game. I thought Oklahoma was going to do what they did in the first game against Bama and get through, get some sacks on him. That did not happen. They played well. Ty Simpson looked great. I think this Indiana defense, they're not really talked about too much. I do think they're underrated. What they did to the Ohio State Buckeyes should not be overlooked. I know they're a methodical offense, but they've got weapons on the outside. Their health was maybe in question, but Alabama does not have the weapons outside that Ohio State does. Ryan Williams has been down so far in the back half of this year. You got Isaiah Horton. He's been playing a little bit better lately. A couple guys emerging for Alabama when it matters, but it remains to be seen if they're going to be able to move the football against this Hoosiers defense. I think Indiana poses a lot of the same threats Oklahoma did. I think their pass rush is going to be key in this game. If they can get to Ty Simpson, if they can force Alabama to have to run the football, something they've done a really terrible job of all season long, it could spell trouble for the Crimson Tide. I think when you look back historically, and we still have this perception of Alabama that they can be world beaters, I think it was impressive what they did against Oklahoma, especially being down 17-0. They're not going to be able to do that against Alabama or against Indiana here. I think it's going to be a tight matchup, but I do think Indiana pulls away as they do in the fourth quarter. I think they'll win this game by 2 touchdowns. Take the Hoosiers -6.5, lock it, flush it. All right, night game, the nightcap. We got another rematch. We've got Georgia and Ole Miss. Obviously, the Lane Kiffinless Ole Miss coming to town. The Sugar Bowl, the spot where Kirby Smart lost in the first round of the college football playoff last year, or this round of the college football playoff last year, coming off that bye, lost to Notre Dame in that matchup. What type of game are we going to get here? It's a rematch. The first matchup saw a high-scoring affair. Georgia, they had 8 possessions in that game. They had 8 scoring drives in that game. So they really were not stopped at all by this Ole Miss defense that's been a little bit suspect down the stretch. When you look at last week, it was a big win for Ole Miss. They blew out Tulane, but their defense gave up some yardage, gave up some long drives. Tulane was able to move the football on them. They didn't finish their drives, though, and that's what Ole Miss capitalized upon. I think this game is going to be my lock of the week. I think Georgia is going to cover the 6.5 point spread, lock it, and flush it. Just the storylines in this game. No Lane Kiffin. They did a good job last week against Tulane. Not on the defensive side of the football, though. Georgia lost in this spot last year. I don't think that's going to happen again if you're Kirby Smart. I think Georgia comes out slow, usually this season. They're going to get out to a fast jump against Ole Miss in this game. I like Georgia to win this and win this one big. Lock it, flush it, -6.5. Those are your 5 picks across the 4 games. The second round of the college football playoff is going to be a great one. It's going to take us to outstanding matchups in the Final Four. If you're following along, the matchups that I have predicted for the Final Four are going to be Ohio State, you're going to have Georgia, you're going to have Oregon, and you're going to have Indiana. 3 Big Ten teams. You think that's going to happen? I don't know. All right. Well, we at Porcelain Picks are lucky and thankful to bring you the locks you need as you scroll atop the porcelain throne. Comment. What do we get right? What do we get wrong? Happy New Year, everyone. Happy college football.